Hey, folks, I wanted to share some encouragement with you in these times. I keep saying it over and over again to the point where people are around me very much, probably get tired of it, but God is bigger. And tomorrow evening at 7 p.m., Friday, March 26th, 27th, I'll be doing a Bible study that will look at the encouragement, the hope, the perspective that we can gain from this. So I invite you to join me live for that. But today I want to give you some encouragement. I think we have to constantly remind ourselves um, that God is bigger, that He has more going on here than we can see, than we can understand, and that God has, He knows what's coming. This has not surprised Him. He's God. It surprised everybody else, but it hasn't surprised Him. And He's got you, He's got this situation in hand. And we need to take confidence in the truth that all of this stuff that's happening has affected him, has affected the world, but it hasn't affected him. He understood to the smallest detail of your life what you would be going through, the health threats, your work, your home, your shopping, your relationships, all the stuff that is going on with you. And we lose sight of that when we focus in the wrong direction. I remember some time ago, I was coming back from a conference and I was on a bus from the conference to the airport. Being with some really good friends, I turned to my seat and I was facing sideways, talking with a couple other friends on the bus, and subconscious, not even realizing what was happening, but my eye was catching all the stuff, the trees, the landscape, the other cars that were going by through the side window. And the longer I sat there, I started getting a headache. I started getting motion sickness. And I don't get motion sick. My wife gets motion sickness on an elevator or an escalator, but I don't get motion sickness. But as I sat there, my mind was focusing all the stuff that was going on, all the distractions that were happening. And as a result, I was getting sick. I had a headache and I had to turn around. When I turned around, looking through the windshield of the bus instead of the side window, and seeing the driver just in front of me as I look out the windshield, then everything started settling down. And that's what's happening now is when we're focused out the windshield where God is driving the bus, then we can gain the right perspective. But the world has all the news and all the stuff that's going on is causing us to see the distractions, all the stuff that's going sideways. So when we listen to all the sensationalism, we listen to all the news, all the dangers, or if we focus on the disruption of our lives, it'll make us spiritually, emotionally, relationally sick and give us headaches all over the place. And we have to turn back around and look through God's windshield to where He's going, where He's got us headed, and the fact that He's still driving the bus. So I want to give you a encouragement. And that is, and fill your mind with more stuff that leads you into God than the amount of time that you spend on the news and listening to all the dangers. And literally, some of you are, you've got that kind of personality. You ought to make a spreadsheet. How many hours am I reading my Bible, praying, listening to Christian music, reading healthy books, watching healthy movies, having conversations with friends, reading a good book, doing things that add value to your life. Spend more hours doing those kinds of things than listening to the news, because what you're filling your mind with is going to determine the disorientation that you feel. So stop looking out of the side of the bus and look through the windshield, recognizing that God is still driving the bus. Hey, and I see a couple of my friends around here, Amy and Richard. It's good to have you on here. Also, understand that we're in this together. In my Sunday message, I showed folks a picture. Here, I hope you can see it. It's a picture of a roll of toilet paper by the closet. So Saturday, I got up early in the morning, real early in the morning, walked down the steps, turned to go to the restroom in our house, and right by the closet door, there is a random roll of toilet paper. And just the fact that it's there, and all the stuff that's going on in our culture, it makes you laugh, doesn't it? And I got to thinking, had it heard that there's a price on its head? Was it trying to get away? Was there a robber in my house during the night? And I scared them a little bit. Uh, and so I showed that on Sunday morning, and during our live stream, my wife, who was at home because she works with clients out in homes, and she wanted to protect the people that were here, commented on the live stream that yeah, he saw it, but he didn't bother to pick it up. Threw me right under the bus. But the truth is, um, we are in this together. So Sheila and I are in it together. We're in it together. We're not going through all of this alone, and we need to laugh at ourselves. We need to laugh at the stuff that's going on around us. And I don't get the whole toilet paper thing. There's people are going crazy because they're looking out of the side of the bus instead of looking straight forward. So don't go through it alone. Find ways to communicate. Use video chat. Use your telephone. In some way, connect with each other and realize that you're not alone. And then I think we need to remind ourselves that because God is bigger, this really can be our finest hour. Through the last week or 10 days, there's a line from one of my favorite movies, Apollo 13, that keeps playing over and over in my head. It's the scene where the crew is on their way back into reentry. They've overcome so many different obstacles already, and they're on their way, getting ready for reentry. And the camera zooms in on Gene Kranz, who was the flight director. And as he's standing there, behind him, there are some political officials, leaders, different people that are discussing, well, are they going to make it? Are they going to make it? Are they going to survive reentry? Because it just seems like there's no way they're going to be able to make it in. The obstacles are too great. It looks like an impossible situation. And so all these people are talking off to the side. And Gene Kranz overhears them, and he interrupts them, and he turns with seriousness in his eyes. And he says, "Gentlemen, I believe this will be our finest hour." And I believe that is what that's the attitude we need to have. That's the voice of Jesus to us. This can be our finest hour. When the world is caught up in fear, God is giving us opportunities to really show that what we believe about the church and how the Holy Spirit works in us really is bigger than anything. And so we got nothing to lose and everything to gain. This is an opportunity. This, as the Church of Jesus Christ, can be our finest hour. I see RB and Candy are on here as well. It's great to see you guys. Martin Luther was a great Christian reformer. And during his day, hundreds of years ago, in the 1500s, the bubonic plague came through, and they tried to get Martin Luther to leave where he was and to go save himself. And here's his response, and I quote, as he was faced with the deadly outbreak of the bubonic plague in the small town of Wittenberg, Germany, a fellow pastor asked for Martin Luther's advice on how to handle the situation. Luther's words were powerful then, and they are relevant today. He said, "I shall ask God mercifully to protect us. Then I shall fumigate, help purify the air, administer medicine, and take it. I shall avoid places and persons where my presence is not needed, in order not to become contaminated and thus perchance inflict and pollute others, and so cause their death as a result of my negligence. If God should wish to take me, he will surely find me, and I have done what he has expected of me. So I'm not responsible for either my own death or the death of others." I love that. If Martin Luther said, if it's my time, I can't run away from God. And if it's not my time, then I'm not going to die. I'm going to be responsible. So I'm going to take the precautions that I need to take to be responsible so that I don't infect somebody else. and but I am not going to be afraid. He goes on to say, if my neighbor needs me, however, I shall not avoid place or person, but will go freely as stated above. See, this is such a God-fearing faith because it is neither brash nor foolhardy and does not tempt God. You see, this can be our finest hour. As the salt of light, as the salt of the earth by Jesus Christ, as the light of the world by Jesus Christ, hey, we have nothing to fear. We can face this. So the devil's trying to get us to look outside the side window of the bus. And some other old friends, Ron and Carolyn Massey, it's good to see you on here. So if you weren't on here at the beginning, I gave an illustration about looking out the side of the bus disorients us, but looking out the front windshield with Jesus, God as the driver, we can see God as bigger. And so fear can't take us unless we allow it. God is always bigger. So let me challenge you again. Spend more time doing things that lean into God than you do listening to the news. Connect with other people, serve others, and realize we don't have to be afraid. We come from a place of victory. So as I mentioned at the beginning, tomorrow evening at 7 o'clock, I'm going to do some Bible study that will give us some perspective and confidence, hope, and peace at 7 o'clock right here on Facebook Live. If you want to join, we can have discussion. You can ask questions. And I'm going to do that tomorrow on Friday. I'm going to do it this week. And then from there forward, I'm going to do it on Thursday evenings at 7. So I invite you to join us there. And then I'm going to be doing some of these live updates, both here and on our church Facebook page, if you want to join us there. So be bold, be strong, do not fear, be responsible. But hey, God's got this. God's got you. And let's lean into him. Greater is he that is in us than he that is in the world. Hey, love you all. Stay in touch. Bye.